Painted on the 8th of February 1978, Femme Étoile, or Star Woman, was a theme that Miró returned to throughout his oeuvre and can first be seen in his Constellation period in 1941. Miró's late style not only combined his earlier themes, but also abstract expressionism and ancient Japanese calligraphy, which he absorbed into his own works. In this painting, we see a combination of his earlier styles from the 1930s, together with the more spontaneous and experimental elements of his later works from the 1940s onwards. Between 1954 and 1959, Miró devoted much of his energy to ceramics, lithography and engraving. When he returned to painting in 1959, while simultaneously working in ceramics and lithography, he produced a number of small canvases where he used colour sparingly and black paint against a stark background, similar to this later 1978 work. In this work, Miró places a woman in the foreground which dominates the canvas, which is reminiscent of his portraits from the 1930s. Although painted entirely in oil, there are elements of texture where the canvas has been scratched and part of the paint removed to the central figure. There is rubbing to the work, and the contrast of the black paint against the white background is reminiscent of his lithographs from the 1950s and 70s. In Miró's personal mythology, the female comes to signify the earth and fertility, while the star acts as its counterpoint, denoting the aerial and celestial element. In his earlier works, the use of symbol is employed in a more literal and contextual way, and in direct contrast, this later work defies any predefined symbolic concepts through its resistance to reveal clear pictorial signs. The dominance of black and white, coupled with strong colours placed on the white background, play a dramatic role, producing an impressive sense of finality to this late work. Elephant de Triomphe by Salvador Dali is one of 8 sculptures plus 4 artist proofs and 2 foundry proofs. This sculpture was conceived in 1975 and the first cast was made in 1984. The towering cast bronze elephant sculpture has an emerald green patina body and surreal, elongated giraffe-like legs. It stands almost 3 meters in height and has a golden angel with a trumpet which appears to have landed on the animal's jeweled saddle, as if heralding great news. The elephant was used by Dali as a symbol of the future and was one of his recurring images atop mosquito-like legs in many of his paintings. The angel fanfare on the elephant's back announces the dawn of an exciting new era. The rich gold of the shining angel and the jewelled saddle on which it kneels could be said to be trumpeting wealth and prosperity. The fragility of the spindly limbs holding up the gigantic weight of the elephant perhaps symbolises the fragility between past and future. The 1970s was the beginning of an atomic age and saw the Cold War and the bombing of Hiroshima. The period saw Dali growing increasingly interested in science and religion, becoming even more a devout Catholic. Christian iconography began to seep into his work. Dali labelled this period nuclear mysticism. The Elephant de Triomphe, elevated physically and spiritually from the earth on its stilt-like legs and watched over by its guardian angel, is a product of these fascinations, announcing the beginning of a prosperous new age.